Chapter 4 Unity of Petals and Stem of Influences. Months went by, and Mayumi not only kept up with her class, but also showed excellence in certain areas. Her class was now celebrating their recognition to conclude the school year. With the help of the class, Teacher Ophelia prepared the program flow. Now came the most exciting part of the program, the awarding ceremony. Teacher Ophelia proudly walked to the front of the stage.
Let me congratulate everyone for completing another stage of your educational journey. At this juncture, it is my greatest pleasure to announce our awardees.
The students were full of anticipation. Mayumi and her friends held hands tightly as the class applauded each awardee. They wondered what award they might receive.
I wonder what we will get this year.
Natasha said nervously.
This moment has kept me awake all night.
Mira added. Mayumi trembled with excitement as the noise in the venue swelled around her. The cheers and the chatter made her overwhelmed. For a moment, everything was too loud, too fast. But then she remembered the self-regulation techniques that Teacher Ophelia had taught her. In her mind, she could almost hear her teacher's calm voice guiding her.
Mayumi, if you're feeling a lot of excitement, recognize what level you're in.
9.
Mayumi whispered to herself.
Okay, Mayumi, 9 means you're getting too energetic. Remember your deep breathing exercise?
Taking the advice to heart, Mayumi closed her eyes, slowly inhaled through her nose for 4 seconds. She held her breath for 7 seconds.
Mayumi, hold.
She told herself. But the noises, her friends calling her, the feedback from the sound system, and the other students laughing around, kept trying to disrupt her focus. The distraction made her open her eyes. She tried again. She closed her eyes and remembered Teacher Ophelia's calming words.
Remember, let go of these noises.
She finally completed the exercise by gently exhaling through her mouth for 8 seconds. She repeated the exercise again, letting the noise fade little by little until she began to calm down. Teacher Ophelia continued to announce the awardees.
The best in mathematics goes to Axel.
Mayumi and her friends cheered happily. Teacher Ophelia continued, and soon, Mayumi's friends began receiving their awards. Nicole received the award for Best in Science, Leonor got Best in English, and Mira won Best in Values Education. The Best in Napi award goes to Natasha, Mayumi, and Tammy.
And for Mayumi, aside from your excellence in arts, you have shown an exceptional grasp of the world around you and its burning issues. With that, kindly receive this award for Best in Araling Panlipunan.
Teacher Ophelia added. The group burst into cheers.
We all got awards!
Tammy shouted, overflowing with joy, as their friend group huddled together, overwhelmed with emotion.
Hold it, everyone. I have one more award to present.
Teacher Ophelia said, interrupting the moment.
I would also like to recognize the victory that your classmates achieved on your behalf when they won the quiz bee. I admire your cooperation and support for one another. So with pride and humility, please receive this special award for your shared victory.
Teacher Ophelia handed the award to the quiz bee team.
As we conclude this part of the program, you can see that all of you now have your medals and ribbons pinned on you. I want you to look around and realize that each and every one of us indeed has potential, which served as the foundation for this class' successful school year. I am so honored to share this journey with you all.
Teacher Ophelia proudly said as the program neared its conclusion. Almost everyone felt satisfied with a job well done. Unbeknownst to them, Carlos secretly went outside to the corner of the school after receiving his award to vent his frustration. He sat there, clearly upset that Mayumi had achieved more than he did. Only most punctual?
That's so unfair. If only I had exposed that stupid magical forest and brought down that delusional girl.
Carlos said angrily as he kicked the ground in disappointment. Little did he know, someone was watching him from one of the trees surrounding the school. All of a sudden, a female crow landed beside Carlos. He was shocked. To make matters worse, the crow spoke to him.
You seem so frustrated, young man.
The crow said with a cunning smile. Carlos was stunned and could barely say a word.
Who are you? And you're talking?
The bond between Mayumi and Rachel the rabbit grew stronger over time. Every time they met in Forest City, they created a learning space filled with trust, empathy, and honesty, where they facilitated each other's cognitive and emotional growth and made one another feel understood and encouraged. Summer break passed, and Mayumi was now in grade 8. Most of her old classmates were still with her in the new section. With the continued support, Mayumi made impressive progress. It was February, the month of Baguio's prestigious Panagbenga Festival. Teacher Ophelia happened to meet Mayumi in the hallway and excitedly shared some news.
Mayumi, there you are. I have some news that I think you'll be interested in.
Mayumi replied eagerly.
What is it, Teacher Ophelia?
Our school division is holding its annual float making contest again. Each school is encouraged to make an entry, and everyone from the participating school can help in creating the float.
Teacher Ophelia shared.
Really? So can my friends join as well?
Mayumi excitedly confirmed.
Certainly, and of course, if you can find more students to form your team, the better.
Teacher Ophelia replied. Mayumi was thrilled and couldn't wait to share the news with her friends. The next day, Mayumi gathered her friends to inform them about the contest.
Hey everyone! I'm so excited to share this with you!
Mayumi said, trembling with joy. Leonor asked with suspense.
What is it, Mayumi? I have a feeling this will be so good.
More than that!
Mayumi said gladly as she explained the contest.
Teacher Ophelia informed me yesterday about the citywide float-making contest. Each school in Baguio City will have to create a float to showcase in the upcoming Panagbenga Festival. So I would like to ask if you are interested in forming a team.
Nicole replied.
Are you kidding? Of course we'll be in. Right, everyone?
The friends happily replied.
Of course we're in!
The group immediately began discussing their team and their float entry.
Panagbenga, like any other festival, cannot be complete without lively music. I would like to compose our awakening and lively festival music to accompany our float during the parade.
Natasha, who is musically intelligent, volunteered. Axel, who is logically and mathematically intelligent, added,
I can help with the float's dimension and measurements, as well as manage the budgeting and logistics.
Mira pointed out,
As an interpersonal type, I am willing to help anyone with their tasks and help mediate within our team.
Nicole, with her naturalistic intelligence, shared,
I can help select plants and flowers. Those that will last long and bloom best. And suggest eco-friendly materials.
Tammy volunteered,
I have no worries dealing with the physically demanding and hands-on work as the bodily kinesthetic one.
Finally, Leonor raised his hand and said,
I will handle the float's concept, description, and presentation speech. After all, I'm linguistically intelligent and very used to writing and delivering speeches.
Mayumi was thrilled. As someone with strong spatial intelligence, she hurriedly took out her pencil and sketchpad. She let her mind play with brand new ideas and allowed her hand to dance across the blank pages, translating her imaginations into sketches. She drew different combinations of flowers and float designs that incorporated the culture of the city and many more creative elements. She sketched as if she was in a state of hyper-focus, producing a high-quality work in a fraction of time. Her friends were amazed to see Mayumi sketching in action. After finishing her drawings, she began explaining the spatial ideas for the design when a bright blue butterfly fluttered past the classroom window. She stopped mid-sentence, watching it for a second before shaking her head.
Sorry,
She laughed softly.
I got distracted. Where was I? Oh, yes! The designs!
Mayumi continued explaining her collection of design ideas for the float. By the end of the discussion, everyone felt motivated working together again, knowing that they were surrounded by members with multiple intelligences. Natasha suddenly added,
Wait! I also know a guy who can help us. His name is 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁, and he's from our class. Even though he has strong intrapersonal intelligence and is quite soft-spoken, he can still be a great help to us. He's very thoughtful and a good listener. What do you think?
Everyone responded enthusiastically.
Of course! Let's have him!
Natasha hurriedly went to get 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁. Teacher Ophelia approached the group and was happy to see them utilizing different kinds of intelligence.
There you are. So you must be planning for the float making contest. I'm glad that you still have that commendable teamwork, just like you did in your quiz-bee last year. More than that, you're recognizing and incorporating everybody's type of intelligence in creating our school's entry.
Not long after, Natasha arrived with 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁.
Everyone, this is 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁, and he agreed to be part of our team.
The group welcomed him warmly.
Hi, 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁! Come on, don't be shy.
Natasha urged the timid 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁.
Hey, I'm 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁, and nice to meet you all.
𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁 said softly.
It's very nice to see that your team is growing through warmth. I am also willing to guide you in making the float.
Teacher Ophelia added, but she suddenly realized a problem.
However, making it will surely be costly. I'm thinking of requesting a budget since this is our school's official entry, and maybe sponsorship would help as well if there are willing sponsors.
Suddenly, Carlos happened to walk by their meeting place and said,
Sponsorship? I think my parents would happily contribute.
Mayumi and her friend's expression suddenly changed after seeing Carlos, as if the weather had turned cloudy and the mood darkened. Teacher Ophelia replied,
Oh, are you sure, dear? It's not compulsory and any amount will be greatly appreciated. Anyway, I remember that I gave you the Best in Technical Skills award last year. Would you be interested in joining? We're more than happy to have more hands.
Carlos said with a provoking glance at Mayumi.
I'll think about it.
Before continuing to walk away. Even though Mayumi wished Carlos would not join, she knew she could not refuse, considering the heavy production costs of the float. The Martinez family had agreed to finance their float, but their generosity came with a condition. Carlos had to be part of the team. The group hesitated. They remembered too well how Carlos had asked to join their quiz-bee team before, and they refused him, sensing his tendency to stir trouble. Natasha exchanged worried glances with Axel and Mira, while Mayumi's expression grew uneasy.
Technically, we can join without sponsorship.
Teacher Ophelia said gently, reading the room.
But we lack the budget to complete the entry. Perhaps this is an opportunity to practice forgiveness and collaboration.
Yet, with no other sponsor willing to shoulder the expenses, they reluctantly accepted Carlos into the team. Teacher Ophelia agreed to the condition not just for the money, but because she saw it as an opportunity to mend the relationship between Mayumi and Carlos. Carlos, clever and observant, quickly noticed 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁's trusting and innocent nature. 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁 was new to the group, eager to belong, and unfortunately, easy to manipulate.
You know, 𝗵𝗵𝗽𝗁,
Carlos said one afternoon, his voice friendly but deceiving.
These flowers would look much funnier if we switched the red ones with the plastic alternatives. It'll be a joke.
Felipe, wanting to please both Mayumi and Carlos, followed the suggestion without thinking much about it. However, when Mayumi saw the changes, she became upset, and soon the two began arguing.
You know, if you balance the colors better, the judges would notice the design instead of the mess.
Carlos casually said to Mayumi, who was trying hard to ignore his provoking remarks. Mayumi kept designing and muttered,
We didn't ask for a design lecture.
The team glanced at the two, sensing the tension in the exchange. Carlos wouldn't stop bothering Mayumi. He rebutted.
I'm just saying, if you had someone with actual experience guiding you, our float could look better.
Mayumi's grip on her decoration tightened as her teeth clenched. She took a deep breath and continued arranging the patterns of the flowers. Even so, Carlos kept on nagging everyone.
You guys think you're doing just fine? Fine isn't exactly winning though.
Mayumi put down the flowers she was holding and looked directly at Carlos.
For someone who just forced himself into this team, you really have the nerve to criticize us like that?
Carlos didn't waste a second replying.
If it prevents this float from looking like a delusion, which honestly says a lot about you, then yes.
He chuckled afterward, and that was enough to make Mayumi lose her temper.
This is exactly why we didn't want you here.
Mayumi shouted as tears of frustration formed in her eyes.
And yet, here I am, sponsored by my family.
Carlos replied coldly.
Maybe you should be grateful.
Their clashes were fiery. The tension in the workshop became unbearable for everyone, and the team meeting slowly turned into battlegrounds. Teacher Ophelia often had to stand in, calming their raised voice and reminding them that unity was the heart of any successful creation.
Mayumi, Carlos, both of you have incredible talents.
She said firmly.
But this float will only succeed if you work together. It should represent not only our school, but also your ability to work together regardless of your differences.
She patiently guided them back to focus, insisting that floats should represent not only their school, but also their ability to collaborate with each other. Rachel's rise to the role of wisdom marked a turning point in the forest city. She did not stop after her first journey of learning. Instead, she continued to deepen her understanding, embodying the truth that learning is a lifelong process. Her wisdom was not measured by magical power, but by her ability to guide others toward compassion and mental well-being. She reminded that community that strength that lies not in spells or dominance, but in empathy, listening, and the courage to understand one another. Yet, beneath the surface of the forest city, unease began to grow. The crows, the only animals gifted with powerful magic, had started to gather in secret. Their meetings took place at night beneath the twisted branches of ancient trees. With each gathering, their resolve grew stronger, reinforcing their pride and resentment. Whispers quickly spread among the other creatures, who feared a possible rebellion. The crows had long been known for defiance, and the pattern of their nightly assemblies only deepened their suspicion. Rachel carried this worry heavily.
Rebellion cannot be silenced by force alone. It requires dialogue, reflection, and collective understanding.
With this burden in her heart, she sought Mayumi, a trusted companion who had been struggling with her own challenges. When they met, the relief was immediate. They embraced as though no distance had ever separated them. And in that moment of connection, both found strength. Rachel began sharing her concerns.
It's the crows and their suspicious gatherings. The animals of the forest city are now living in fear.
Meanwhile, Mayumi vented her own frustrations.
There is chaos within our parade float team. Remember Carlos? He is now a member of the team, and he has been insisting on his own visions for the float while dismissing the contribution of others. Our team have grown divided, forgetting the true purpose of our work.
Their exchange became more than a sharing of troubles. It became a moment of reflection. In the safety of their dialogue, they recognized that growth flourishes in environments of empathy, trust, and mutual understanding. Mayumi realized that her frustration was not about the float itself, but about the people who had lost sight of its deeper meaning. 𝗲𝗫𝗃, in turn, reminded her that seeing beyond the task and understanding its deeper significance was already a mark of wisdom. While 𝗲𝗫𝗃 and Mayumi sought solutions, the crows continued their nightly gatherings. Veronica eloquently spoke with pride.
We, the crows, the ancient wielders of magic, declare that magic was our birthright, and that compassion is weakness.
The repetition of these meetings strengthened their defiance. Each whispered plans became easier to repeat, and each resentment easier to rekindle. The other animals grew increasingly fearful. They saw the crows gathering as a threat, a sign that rebellion might soon begin. Yet 𝗲𝗫𝗃 understood that the problem was not simply the meetings themselves, but the meaning behind them. Realizing they needed guidance, 𝗲𝗫𝗃 and Mayumi turned to teacher Ophelia, who had listened carefully to their worries.
Mayumi,
Teacher Ophelia said gently,
sometimes when you and your teammates argue, it can feel like everything is falling apart. Like no one is listening and everyone just wants things their own way.
Mayumi nodded, but deep inside, she still had doubts.
What if the float ends up looking messy?
The worries felt real, but she also knew that the float would never succeed if everyone kept working in different directions. Teacher Ophelia's words carried weight. She reminded them both that the float was not merely decoration. It was a symbol. It embodied the collective spirit of the community, a reminder that unity was stronger than pride.
I may not have been in the forest city,
She continued,
but even the crows with all their magic could not resist the power of a community that stands together.
Back in the forest city, 𝗲𝗫𝗃 and Mayumi called the animals together. The animals gathered in the clearing, while the crows lingered at the edges. Suspicious but curious, especially upon seeing the mysterious human in the city once again.
I want to speak about the importance of gathering, not for pride, but for compassion.
𝗲𝗫𝗃 said to the animals. Mayumi added,
I also want to share my struggles with my own team. What we are building is not just about winning, but about showing who we are when we stand together.
𝗲𝗫𝗃 concluded their discussion with the animals.
Unity doesn't mean one person leads while others follow. It means listening to one another and working together toward the same goal.
The animals listened quietly, and the crows shifted uneasily.